Okay, great. So two things I want to talk to you about. You just mentioned one of them, actually, that capital project on the water tanks covers. Because I saw it recently in a list that I was going through, and I said I definitely want to talk to you about that. Interestingly enough, what I noted was the number of tanks that needed those covers replaced. So how difficult was that to do in terms of the assessment?
I must say it wasn't difficult because persons report to those tanks on a daily basis. So they would come and complain, the tanks too heavy or they're worn and they're corroded, and the reservoirs are easily accessible and so that project was very easy and it's already completed.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And when you mentioned your interaction with the quality team, for instance, I was curious to know what they were saying about the exposure to, let's say, corroded metal covers, because obviously you were interacting with them, so they pointed it out to you, and that was something that was urgent that needed to be dealt with, correct? Yeah. So everything is safe, we're good to go on. Wonderful. The other thing that you mentioned is something that is quite fascinating, desalination. You said that they report to you concerning the status of the project. Recently enough, actually I spent a bit of time there on March 14th and 21st, and I was there earlier this week at the Bastard Desalination Plant, and things seem to be moving along quite well. I know that you and I had a discussion, very brief, about the trenching that was supposed to be going on in the area. So what can you tell us generally about the progress at the Bastard Desalination Plant and the trenching?
Well, currently we're making good progress, Lord. The trenching, they reach quite far, almost to the top by the reservoir. So right now we're putting in the pipeline. So right now they currently are at Bird Rock, putting in the pipeline, using a Bud Fusion machine, connecting up the pipes. They had backhoes basically pushing up the pipeline in the trench. And because they reach a good amount, they had to get an excavator yesterday, actually, to help to push up the pipe further because the backhoe wasn't strong enough. But we progressing nicely.
Well, I can understand that because I was up close and personal with the pipes.
They're huge.
They are obviously very huge. In a day or two, we'll put out an article so that the public can see exactly what's going on there. So this is a great time to tell you where you can see that. So mopieud.gov.kn, if you don't know what that means, Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Energy, Utilities, and Domestic Transport.gov.kn. That's where you can find that information. So our conversation is progressing quite smoothly, and no nerves. Awesome. Great. I'm sure our viewers love to see your smile. All right. So as we continue with this discussion here, we've talked about desalination. I want to talk about some of the ongoing / upcoming projects. Anything that you can tell us?
Right now, we're building a fence up at Olivi's Reservoir. That also is progressing smoothly. I actually just spoke to a colleague of mine from Public Works who needed some pictures as an update. So as soon as I leave here, I'm going up to Olivi's to take some pictures on the progress. We're also building an office facility in the department's yard. So the substructure is basically completed. It's time to cast the roof soon and then do the finishes on that building. The UAE plant basically completed. The water actually is currently going into the system. The only thing that we're doing the finishes on is the earthworks. So like doing a few retaining walls and planting some grass. So we're working on that currently.
All right, that's good that you mentioned the UAE plant because it was a little while ago, probably about a year, I think it was in March, that we had the groundbreaking ceremony over at Canada Estate. And to hear you say today that the water is actually going into the system, that's good for the people in Keys and the surrounding areas. Obviously, they're getting that. What can you tell us about the way that solar energy, renewable energy, was incorporated there? Because I found that fascinating that at that structure, what we had was the solar cells on top of that to support the pumping, and I assume everything else that goes on there. What can you tell us?
Well, I find it very interesting how they use solar to basically produce the water, get the water and filter it into fresh water. So we also tapped into the skillet grid. So if needed, we don't currently use it all the time, but if needed, we tap in from time to time.
And that whole dialogue about renewable energy, it's interesting how as a ministry we're pushing that forward, but then even at the departmental level we're seeing the integration of it and how you guys work together to get that done. So that's really commendable, indeed.
Oh, in terms of additional projects, we're looking at smart meters also, and also a SCADA project. We recently went to Nevis, and Nevis has a SCADA project where they could lock off their valves from a computer.
Wow.
So it was very interesting to see, you know.
For the benefit of our listeners, I
Yeah.
want you to tell them what SCADA is.
SCADA is supervisory control acquisition and data acquisition, yeah.
Okay, so you
So it's basically where you could control everything from a computer. The water levels, turn off a valve, turn it off, slow it down. Yeah.
And that's interesting because we've had discussions here about the guys getting up early. And I remember the last time you and I were together, we talked with Ian about that. And I asked, you know, is that automatic? How do you regulate those things? And he said, well, somebody has to turn on a valve.
Yeah.
So you're looking at that to see how you can automate those processes. It's definitely good. I'm glad.
Regulation.
Definitely so. And I'm glad that you mentioned going over to Nevis because I saw the footage, I saw the pictures. There was a familiarization visit. So the minister took the leadership team of the Water Services Department over to Nevis. I think it was on March 20th. Tell us about that experience.
It was interesting. I enjoyed it. We also saw the UAE diesel plant, which is basically the same as ours. They have a glass fused to steel tank, which we looking to construct in the near future. They also have a treatment plant where they filter their water, which we looking also to get into an additional treatment plant. So it was very interesting to see.
In terms of the treatment plant, what's the progress like? Where are we within that process?
Currently, the bids have already been in, and the tender evaluation has been completed. I think it has been sent off. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So things are happening at the St. Kitts Water Services Department, and I'm glad I'm here with you getting that information out to the public. Again, if you have any questions for Ms. Hanley, I'm asking you not to let her get away scot-free. Here you go, 662-8674, 662-8674. All right, so we'll continue our discussion on some of the challenges and perhaps, well, obviously the solutions that you've implemented. So what are some of the challenges that you faced during project execution, and how have you addressed them?
Okay, there are a few challenges, but I don't think they're pretty hard, you know, sometimes.
Hold on. Project force.
All right, so we have a caller. Good morning, caller. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, my good friends at Skelly.
At the Water Services Department. Good morning, sir.
Eh?
We're at the Water Services Department. Ms. Hanley works with the Water Services Department.
Sorry. Water services.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know if you all know. I don't know if the people does report to you all, but I have been seeing a lot of bus pipe along the road because I do a lot of walking, and I walk to a lot of different communities, alleys, roadways, and that sort of thing. So I just see a lot of bus pipe, and I just call the water department to think. They was up here just last week there in Pine Garden fixing bus pipe up here. Went down and I tell them about bus pipe over at Lagweed. There by the camp, you go up to the little lane there to go up by Lagweed by the shop up here. They fixed that. I was the one who told them about there by Avec where they had to demolish some of the bus station there that morning. That was a big job for them. It took them all the way up into the night. And y'all did a very good job there, but probably works need to come and put back the bus station in order there by Avec. Now school is on vacation. I was the one who also, and many others who called here by Project Strong across the road there by the dentist. There was a pipe bus there. I called about that. I also called some months ago about a pipe bus in Shadwell and right over there by the cable building going to the hospital. Just walk in normally and see these pipes and call. I was the one also who called a Saturday afternoon coming from town, walking around the airport fence there. You know where the 2 wells being Shadwell, you lead a big pipe there to send the water to other constituencies. I hear the shoo. A lot of bush and grass was there, but I decided to investigate. When I decided the big pipe, the flange on it. So the water was putting out. They come and they had to get backhoes and all kind of thing to dig out that and fix that and put it back in order. And several other areas I call and let the water department know about all these bust pipe and leaking pipes up and down. So guys, you all work efficiently, and thank you guys for your good job that you all been doing, and keep up the good work.
Thank you,
and
Connor.
anywhere I go and I see the bus pipe them and I call, I just come to help us to save a lot of the water.
Thank
that
you.
would be waste to those bus pipes.
Much appreciated,
So guys,
Connor.
you all are doing a good job. And we don't have water going fast and those kind of things. A number of communities complaining, right, about constant well, I have to say to you guys again, over Lagweed. Lagweed have a serious, what you all going to do about over Lagweed? Because water gone day and night over Lagweed. And there's a storage there, you all don't tell me, that goes to Bastia, it goes to West Farm Camps and those places. What you all going to do for Lagweed? Because Lagweed have a lot of grievances to say that a water storage is right here by them and they're not getting the water from it. And all day, all night, water gone from them. And they have a number of businesses there that they have to be catching water and throwing water out of bottles and buckets and things. So they're asking what you all could do for them to assist them in Lagweed. Gone.
Thank you. Thank you, caller. We appreciate you being a water ambassador, and we definitely need more of those. So thank you very much. I'm certain whatever Ms. Hanley might not be able to address now, she will take it back to her department, and they will do so. I suspected that we had another call coming in at the time when that person was on air, so I'm going to urge that second caller to chime in again. Try again. I'm certain that you'd be lucky. Yes, here we go. Good day, caller. You're live.
To you, sir, and how are you today, and the rest of the people in the studio in your company?
We're well, thank you. And you?
I am very well, and thanks for asking. I'm calling not to ask a question, as you did say. I'm calling to say something that I'm impressed with, however, for too long, and it's not too late. I'm glad to hear that you all are now providing the security necessarily for our water storage to fence the reservoirs. Too many of us, people in general, have access to our water security and storage. There should not be anyone should have, that I see openly, access to our reservoirs. These need fencing, and they need gates to the entrance, which of course they have to walk to go A, up at Timothy Hill, B, Lagbeaton, in Southeast Peninsula. These things need to be fenced and gates secured properly. But I'm glad to hear that. I'm not saying it's too late, because nothing really happened. But we better make sure it is done. And I would like for it to be done ASAP. Not me making that statement as if I'm driving you all to do it, but it should have been done a long time ago. One last note. In some time of your explanation, it is very rapid and fast. And I have a good ear. I understand what you're saying, but I'm asking you to slow down just a little bit so it be clear for others to understand what you're saying, just a little bit. Thank you very much for listening. Have a good day. Goodbye.
Thank you for your input. Much appreciated. All right. So I think it's safe to put the headphones down temporarily.
Turn the volume of that, folks.
Yes, okay. So here we go. So the conversation. Obviously, water is something that everyone is interested in. To the point of security, I appreciate that caller making that point, because it's something that the Water Services Department is currently seeking to do, and that's great as well. So before we got those calls, I was asking you about the challenges and solutions. What are some of the challenges that you have faced in the execution of projects, and how your team and you have addressed them?
Challenges, sometimes, delays with getting materials. If like the department is procuring materials and we're doing a labor-only contract, sometimes that's a bit of a challenge. Also, haphazard meetings. So let's say you have something to deal with over here, then you get a call from a contractor to deal with something. So you have to go here and go here. So it's a lot of up and down.
I was going to say, I've never done that to you, so not my fault.
Thank you.
Right.
So that sometimes is challenging, but overall, I don't find project management very difficult. Actually, get along with most of the contractors, if not all. Somebody told me at time I seem pretty good at project management and I know how to deal with these quote unquote old men. No offense to my contractors. But yeah, it's going smooth for the most part.
Definitely. So I think we should make you one of the poster people for water services. And what I mean by that is that when we had that initial meeting back in February of last year, I think you came into the room at Public Works with your hard hat on, and I was like, wow, okay, this is different, you know. And one of the things that I said to one of my colleagues the other day is that in terms of gender equality at the Water Services Department at the management level, I love what I'm seeing because there are lots of females who are also supporting the water manager, you being one who's very capable, and I'm glad that we're seeing that there as well. So our time is almost up, believe it or not. But one of the things that I want to talk with you about is the advice for aspiring engineers. I mean, I just mentioned, that you're a woman who is in engineering, and typically what we have seen traditionally is that we don't have a lot of women generally doing that. And here you are as a beacon to other women and thriving. So what advice would you have to just about anyone willing to pursue a career in water engineering or even environmental services?
Okay, I'll say work hard and smart. Also know how to work well with others. Know how to communicate to people, that's a major thing. Workers would get along with you better if you just know how to talk to them. Give people grace. I acknowledge that a lot of things be happening outside of the professional world, and people need to remember that. So sometimes 100% is not the same every day. So a competent worker might be good today and they might not be 100 tomorrow, 100 the same 100 as yesterday. So I acknowledge that. Self-control, dealing with varying personalities. Sometimes you feel like you want to knock somebody across the head, but you cannot.
Hold back.
So self-control, and
I'm going to move over here.
self-control for sure, and learning how to be able to burn your back, not appease everybody, and so give honest opinions, and
And I like that, and clearly it's gotten you far, and I suspect it will get you even further. So keep up the good work, Miss Chantal Hanley, Assistant Water Engineer in the Water Services Department. I'm Jamie Morris, Communications Officer with the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Energy, Utilities, and Domestic Transport. This has been The Waterline. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Water is life, 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 life. Water is life, 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 life. Do just one thing,
Every job come, make sure you check for leaks around your house every day. Every job come, when brushing your teeth, don't let the water run away. Come save the water, preserve the water.